as a community, we are all grieving, still.
When George Floyd happened, a lot of our businesses were looted, burned down, and there's just a whole different feel in Minneapolis now. There's been a spike in violence. I feel like I'm a part of history.
The whole world is watching! A lot of that was figuring out self-healing with what we were going through and understanding who am I, what space do I have, what space do I take up, but also how traumatic that was.
And there was lots of concern about gathering spaces and wellness and trauma being triggered, and what were we going to do about it? And I said, I think we should do some microgrants. I like the idea of us creating and having new spaces for people to go, but you know what I love more? Giving resources to people that are already doing work with our young people. I wanted to make sure that every single person on that advisory had some experience directly with violence. And I honestly could not imagine any young person in this city that hasn't. I just honestly can't.
I was invited into this work, I think, because of my experiences with police violence and community violence. My brother was shot by a police officer in 2017, and it was fatal. He was actually shot in his back as he was running away from an officer in Chicago. And a few months later, my mother was shot by a stray bullet. I'm completely heartbroken. I'm completely heartbroken. And I do feel like that I could be some beacon of hope for a community, because there's so much trauma surrounding us. There's so much violence surrounding us.
In 2011, my cousin Christopher Miller was murdered. He had just graduated from the police academy, and he was shot in his back. When it happens to you, you get activated in a different way. You understand it differently. One of the churches called and said, you know, Chanda, we need some resources. We want to get to the young people that are out, that aren't being occupied by things productive. We actually need to have a place where they can just have a game of pickup ball and process in the way that kids process.
It's very powerful. It's very powerful. We actually accepted people and applications from organizations that don't have a 501c3 or a fiscal agent to reach some of the people that we know that aren't reached.
I just don't settle for strategies that aren't true strategies. If we're not talking about radical change, then I have no interest in it.
What I want to see is just a community that values the perspectives of children.
One of my favorite was Sojourner Truth Academy. They utilized plants. You know, they were growing through the pain and the trauma. Sanctuary Covenant Church, we gave them some funding for a mural. I'm happy that they used the funds in that way and created a space. It's in a prime location, so people pass it and see it. I know Lucy Laney's boxing club came off of, you know, creating a safe outlet to release anger and stress and anxiety. They're gonna take that discipline with them. They're gonna take that resilience.
People come together in positive ways. It helps to ease the pain. I just felt compelled to do something. Well, I knew how to make pies, so that's what we did.
Rose McGee, like community mother, right? She is an example of what we want to do with those micro grants.
We appreciate the Minneapolis Foundation for knowing that the community needed healing.
I absolutely believe that this fund is making a difference.
We need transformational change, and it won't happen overnight.
The one thing that I hope is that violence is not something that we all have to be proximate to before we stop it. Everybody has a way to lead, everyone has a way to contribute, and everyone can make this different.